since you're on a roll right now.
Gladly.
All right, go ahead, Avery.
Well, I feel like it started a little slow. First quarter was probably one of not our best quarters for sure, but we picked it up. We adjusted. We got a better game plan. We adjusted and we just bounced back every quarter after that. I believe. What'd you say, Coach? It went from like 4 to. Oh yeah, from 4 to 11, 23, 24. I just feel like we got our groove back. We found it. That was good, wasn't it?
That was great. Thanks for starting us off so well.
Do I even need to say?
How do you follow, right? How do you follow that?
I'm going to pull the stereotypical reporter question. What was the message at halftime?
How bad our offense was, and we need some rhythm and some flow, and so it was just making a few adjustments to see if we couldn't help them find some flow and some rhythm. And I thought it would be low scoring. All right, I didn't think 15 to 18 at halftime was coming, but this was the two. Statistically, it's the two best defensive teams in the league. So I thought it could be a little bit on the low scoring. I thought some of their athleticism and their physical, the guard, could bother us some, and knew they might have to do something to take us, out of our rhythm in the post. And they did a really good job. And we couldn't find a rhythm in that first half and couldn't get going, couldn't get out in the open court. And then I thought in that third quarter, we just made a few adjustments and really got out, defended and limited them to one shot and got out in the open floor a little bit where we just needed to open up the game some and our kids did it. So, yeah, it wasn't any rah-rah or anything that I think that I said. It was just we needed to tweak a few things.
Big night just outside of the game, I believe. 8 years of the Johnson family ending for regular season play on the court in the Sawmill. Just talk about the legacy of that entire family and specifically Ayanna.
Yeah, so 7 of my 8 years we've had at Johnson. So it started with Amani was the oldest one who we recruited as a transfer out of Southeast Missouri. And and it was really to get her. I mean, there were some other sisters, and we knew there were some younger ones. But it really, in the back of your mind, they might have a chance to be pretty good. But we wanted Amani at the time. And then obviously we recruited Aaliyah and tried to recruit each one of them separately and not make it like a true package deal or family deal. That wasn't the intent. And then Ayanna, who was really good, in the summer, played big-time AAU basketball, and we got to watch her. And, of course, having her two sisters here at the time allowed them to play together for the first – they've never played together because Amani was so much older than Ayanna, and she had redshirted a year and had to sit out when she got here. So that allowed them to play 1 year together. So Imani's senior year, we got them in there, all three of them together. They're all post players, but we got them a few games, so they could kind of see that and have that, which I think is pretty special. And, and Ayanna was the baby and came in 18 and wide-eyed and wouldn't talk a whole lot and didn't say much, and let Amani, and then Aaliyah was kind of the mother of the three, and even of the team, but especially of the family. And then, it was interesting to see Ayanna this year without Aaliyah on the court, just to see what that dynamic was look like, and to be the only senior, and we've challenged her to lead, and how difficult that is with, a younger team, that everybody else on our roster has, I guess you all have 2 years. If everybody chooses to use their COVID year, everybody's got 2 or more years still to play. So she's, considerably older, I guess, than the rest of these guys. But, so she's done a fantastic job, had an unbelievable career here, and that whole family's left a great mark.
AB, you've been a part of that legacy, at least coming in freshman year, being a part of that family too. Talk about it a little bit from the player perspective.
It's been amazing. It started with Lee, just setting the tone, my freshman year. Us, all three of us being in post guard together, I spent a lot of time with Nana and Lee, and they just kind of took me under their wing and, always treated me like a little sister. I have a key to their house. Just always treated me like a little sister, Anytime I needed something, I can go to one of them, especially, when it comes to, on the court stuff. So, it's been amazing playing with both of them.
Coach, there was a point we talked about on the broadcast. I think it was a little over 5 minutes to go. You guys were up by 6. And we thought that was going to be a pretty critical point. I don't think the Aggies were a team that are necessarily designed to come from behind from a big deficit. And then from that point, I think you guys got the lead up at one point to almost 20 points after we talked about that. What was it in that little stretch, the way you guys finished? Just talk about that a little bit, that last 5 minutes or so of the game.
Well, we made shots. The difference was we just made some shots in the third quarter and the fourth quarter. I think our shooting percentage in the first half was low 20s, right? And then we shot, 53 in the third and 71 in the fourth quarter, And so, we didn't make a lot of threes, but I thought those were, key threes at the right time, to get a little bit of momentum. And, we wanted them to call the first time out of that third quarter, which they did. And, early on we told them, a 5-0 run or a 5-point lead will feel like in this game that is huge. And so we were trying to get that, and I think we went in and maybe we're up 3. And I'm like, guys, it feels like we just had a big run, right? You look up and we're up 3 or 5 because of the game. But then, it was just getting stops, so that we call them kills, right? A score, stop, score, or a stop, a score, and a stop behind it. Well, that's what allows you to get runs. And so we finally just got some of those kills that we could put them together and extend that lead, which we think we're capable of doing when we're right.
And then the other thing I wanted to ask you about, Coach, the last game against Sam Houston, the offensive rebounds for them gave you guys a little bit some problems in the first half. Tonight, 14-5 deficit on the offensive glass. Is that something that you guys are concerned about at all as you guys get ready to go to WAC Vegas? Is it something that you think you guys are just able to play through? Or
Well, you have to be able to play through if it's happening, but yes, we need to get that corrected so we don't have to play through that, right? And we turned it over more than they did, so that's not acceptable. We're pressing and trying to speed them up a little bit, and they're not doing that to us, and we're turning it over more than them. So we lost the possession battle of those two, right? Offensive rebounds, those are possessions, and turnovers are possessions. So we lost that, right? And that's not typically good enough. Now, thankfully, we shot it at a high percentage, and they didn't make us pay on some of those, offensive rebound putbacks or turnovers, because they shot 28, 29%. So thankfully, they didn't make us pay. But yes, we have to get that cleaned up in a closer game. Every possession is just magnified.
Avery, this was your 6th double-double in the season. How does it feel to be that person that you get your number called on and you can perform at this level?
It feels good. Feels good. I just try to put my head down and do what Coach Kellogg and Coach Bishop asked me to, so I just want to play hard, whatever. If I finish with 17, if I finish with 8, I just want to be what I need to be for us to come out with the W, regardless of my stat line.
Final push of the regular season against UTA. Get some rest. We'll see you then.
Be right back at it. Thank y'all.
You need some beauty rest, Coach.